Auzubillahiminashaitanirrajim. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum. Ji ayanu. Pakhairagale. Ni hao. Chunashumme. Washmale. Ohio Gonzaimus. Guten Morgen. Hola. Boyor. Privyet. Kaifa hal? Hale shuma chatore. Ahlan wasalan. Marhaba. Buna. Mucho. Gracias. Swabi. Abhalli keraya. And thank you very much everybody for tuning into PTV World. You're definitely watching World this morning alongside Shahzad Hassan Khan on a Friday morning over in Islamabad where the weather is absolutely perfect to go out on a drive as well. But other than that, ladies and gentlemen, I hope and pray that everybody out there is doing wonderfully well and that you're looking after your loved ones and yourself as well. Because ladies and gentlemen, as we speak of today, I think that the positivity ratio within the COVID cases or the Omicron variant is increasing, and it is at an alarming situation, even though everybody knows that, alhamdulillah, that the Omicron variant is not that lethal or fatal. But God forbid, ladies and gentlemen, a lot of people have been diagnosed with it in the first place, and then a lot of people are critical. So please make sure that you kind of just look after yourselves. And it's really important for each and every one of you to follow the SOPs. Number one, what I want to kind of share with you all is that, all of a sudden, because, eventually we as humans think that, that things are getting back to normal. So what we think is that, hey, you know what, it's okay to shake hands, hug each other and whatnot. I mean, when, God forbid, there was no COVID, everybody used to do it and nobody would have actually had any harm to kind of share with anybody else as well or unintentionally. But what I would recommend over here is that since we all know that the positivity ratio is increasing day by day and it has actually kind of gone beyond 11.5% in the country. So what we really need to do is that we really need to abstain ourselves from shaking hands, ladies and gentlemen, or hugging each other. And what happens is that as Muslims, we are so full of courtesy that even if there's somebody who's actually going to bring their hand right in front of you for a musafa, what we do is that we have to shake their hands. Please don't do that, because otherwise after that we have to use a lot of sanitizer. So please wear your masks. It is very important. Please make sure that you do not shake hands. Please make sure that you do not hug people. Maintain your distance. And it is for the safety of each and every one of us. So please make sure that you do that. Second, obviously it's Friday. Jummah Mubarak to everybody. Please make sure that you remember me, our entire team, in your prayers. Number three, a very funny incident happened with me yesterday. So what happened was that we at our place make donuts by ourselves. So our chef, alhamdulillah, he made loads of donuts, which we sent to my appi's place and all of those relatives who were around as well. But I kind of ended up having 5 or 6 donuts, and then I had a reaction, bad stomachache, and then I started throwing up as well. So please make sure if there's something on the table which you like the most, eat Miana Ravi ke saath. This is something. Please make sure that you're modest while you're consuming the food which you love the most. Other than that, just yesterday, it was history in the making as the PSL Season 7 kicked off with a very amazing curtain raiser. Well, for the very first time, Prime Minister Imran Khan, ladies and gentlemen, the video bite was played, and it looked actually very wonderful, because the last time how I imagined it to be, because going back in time, I still remember that there was this award function where James Bond was bringing the Queen of England, on a helicopter, and was standing over there. So that's how I felt of Ramiz Raja Sahab as well as the chairman PCB. He looked like Mr. Prime Minister, and it felt like as if he's the James Bond of the Pakistan Cricket Board. And then it was so good to see Prime Minister Imran Khan to inaugurate the PSL 7 season, or the curtain raiser as well. But not just that, I think we have a few clips to share with you. Please go ahead and take a look, because the PSL opening ceremony was lit, and for the very first time, ladies and gentlemen, we only went for a curtain raiser. So there wasn't a lot of money being spent on it. There was Atif Aslam and Aima Beg performing Aage Dekh, the PSL 7 anthem, which was actually produced by Sami Khan, one of my dear friends as well. And it was Karachi Kings and Multan Sultans, the defending champion, locking their holes. But first, please make sure that you take a look. Go ahead.
Salam Pakistan.
And they have landed, ladies and gentlemen.
gentlemen, what a fantastic opening ceremony for PSL Season 7, where, it wasn't for the very first time that we actually had paratroopers coming down. And I'm sorry to say this, but, it happened for the very first time in Kashmir Premier League, where, I was actually rendering my services at the as the sports and sports broadcast journalist as well. But it looked fantastic, and I think everybody did enjoy it as well. And, so the first match was Karachi Kings and Multan Sultans, where Multan Sultans actually happened to be the defending champions as well, where Karachi Kings, ladies and gentlemen, batting first because Multan Sultans won the toss and they elected to field. And there's a reason, because, for all of those matches which were played in the National Stadium Karachi, 57% of the teams won, who were the second to bat as well. But Mr. Sharjeel Khan from Karachi Kings actually chipped in a 43, Mr. Joe Clark 26, Babar 23, not very lucky with that as well, and Mohammad Nabi 10. Mohammad Nabi even took 2 wickets and Mohammad Ilyas actually won. But coming down to Sultans, ladies and gentlemen, Multan Sultan won the first match by 7 wickets with 10 balls remaining. Mohammad Rizwan, obviously we all know that, he is the ICC T20 Player of the Year. He got that award as well, so he managed to chip in a 52. Mr. Shan Masood 26 and Mr. Swaib Masood 30. Imran Tahir did a great job with 3 wickets and 4 overs and just giving 16 runs. Khushdil Shah 1 wicket and Mr. Dahani 1 wicket as well. And today, ladies and gentlemen, it's going to be Quetta Gladiators versus Peshawar Zalmi. And we hope and pray that may the best team win. Wow. That's wonderful. So that was a lot of cricket early in the morning. Not just that, you can actually tune into PTV Sports today around 5 p.m. and you'll see me there as well alongside Rashid Latif. But now coming down to what are we doing today. So first things first, I really need a quick tip from my producer. If that surprise package we wanted to share with our audiences, is that ready? Okay, so it's not ready, so probably after the break. But this gentleman who's ready over here in the studio with me, ladies and gentlemen, is one of the most amazing legendary figures within our country when it comes down to music, when it comes down to poetry, or when it comes down to being the most humble and the modest guy as well. He's produced more than 12 to 13 albums and some enormous hits, obviously, indeed, within those albums as well. And not just that, obviously, there was a transition from where people initially actually used to record albums, and then there was a transition from album to being singles as well. Not just that, he's been on to world tours where he's taken the name of Pakistan and always made sure that he's going to bring back more pride to the country. Initially, when he wanted to be a singer, his family wasn't really very supportive, but alhamdulillah, as he grew to be a legend himself, and the way he followed the footsteps of maybe Nusrat Fateh Ali Khan Saab, maybe Madam Noor Jahan, and for all of those legendary figures we have inside Pakistan, ladies and gentlemen, there was no stopping him. And not just that, he's recently written a book, and that too, he's a great poet. But before I kind of introduce the book, ladies and gentlemen, it's really important that I introduce my wonderful guest all the way from Lahore. Ladies and gentlemen, he happens to be Mr. Adeel Barki. Hello, assalamu alaikum, good morning.
Wa alaikum assalam, and thank you so much. Well, I must say, pleasure is all mine. Actually, truly mine. Always been part of your program. You are conducting your show with such a mature conduct, and I must say, since 9 years,
Alhamdulillah.
All credit goes to your side, and I must say, we feel sometimes proud to be a friend.
Jazakallah sir, we are trying to follow your footsteps as well, and shukr alhamdulillah. First of all, obviously,
my footstep, are you going to sing?
No, I will sing. I'm rapping. I have recorded 2 songs as well, and we are just working on music videos these days. But we'll talk about myself some other day. Today it's your day as well. And sir, whenever we talk about the music industry, you're one of those people who were the very few at the beginning to kind of jump into this industry, not knowing quite a lot as well. And then, when your family is not supportive of the art or talent you possess, it is really, and it gets difficult. So how were you initially in the first place, and then we'll move down to how you came up with 12 and 13 albums, your book is here, and the poetry is great as well. So how did you do that? Oh,
I'm humble. Actually, you see, I have seen so many opposition in my family since my childhood, because we are Pathan, Barki Pathan. My forefather, they are from Jalandhar, Ludhiana. So being a professional singer, I have faced so many problems. But end of the day, I achieved my goal, and I'm feeling I'm successful and blessed, and I'm happy. At last, I achieved my goal.
MashaAllah. And that's great. You've been awarded with several different awards, maybe nationally or internationally as well. when it comes down to producing music, you've been producing music across the border, for films across the border as well. So it is indeed a great achievement. And before we kind of move on towards any other question, I think first things first, what I want my people, my audiences in 46 different countries to kind of listen to your magical vocals, and then we'll move on with other conversation as well, or the other questions I have for you. So whatever you want to share with us, please go ahead.
Yeah. Okay, I will sing Bulle Shah's Kanak. It has very deep meaning and I love to sing all the time. मक्के गया गल मुकदी नाही, मक्के गया गल मुकदी नाही, पावे सौ सौ जुमे पड़ आए, गंगा गया गल मुकदी नाही, पावे सौ सौ गोते खाइए, ते गया गया गल मुकदी नाही, पावे सौ सौ पंड पढ़ाइए, बुल्ले शाह गल ताइयों मुकदी ओ जदों मैनू दिलों मुकाइए, पढ़ पढ़ आलम फाजल होयो ओ कदी मन अपने नू पढ़िया ही नहीं, जा जा वड़ने मंदिर मसीतां ओ कदी मन अपने बिच वड़िया ही नहीं, एवें रोज शैतान नल लड़ने ओ कदी नफ्स अपने नल लड़िया ही नहीं, बुल्ले शाह आसमानी उड़दियां फड़दा, जेड़ा कर बैठा ओनू फड़िया ही नहीं, राती जागे ते शेख सदावें, ओ पर रात नू जागण कुत्ते तैं थी उते, मालिक दा ओ दर ना छड़ दे, ते भावें मारो सौ सौ जुत्ते तैं थी उते, राती सारी भौंक दे रहिंदे, ते दिन जा रड़ां विच सुते तैं थी उते, उठ बुलिया चल यार मना ले, ओ नहीं तां बाजी लै गए कुत्ते तैं थी उते, जे रब मिलदा नातियां तोतियां, जे रब मिलदा नातियां तोतियां, मिलदा डड्डू मच्छियां, जे रब मिलदा जंगल बेले, मिलदा गावां मज्जियां, ते जे रब मिलदा मंदर मसीती, मिलदा चाम चरिठियां, बुल्ले शाह रब उन्हां नू मिलदा, ओ नीतां जिन्हां दियां सच्चियां.
Wow, wow, wow. What a great start to a Friday morning, ladies and gentlemen, with Mr. Adeel Barki over here in the studios with us. And I believe that, this is one of the greatest days of my life as well, where, you get to hear Bulle Shah Sahab as well. And this is something which I want to pick up on as well. Because when you read Bulle Shah Sahab, and, it's more of a spiritual journey,
Yeah.
where, just while you were kind of reciting the kalam as well, you said that, if you're not going to wake up at night, you're not going to offer your tahajjud prayer, it's the dogs who are actually going to kind of take the bazi as well. That's what you referred to. And just very recently, because I have been on a spiritual journey myself after 2019 for the very first time when I got COVID, so I've made sure that I'm not going to miss out on one of my namaz as well. So for all of those prayers, alhamdulillah, I've tried to pray 5 times a day. But now very recently, what has been happening with me, alhamdulillah, I hope that, that's how it is, that every now and then I get this feeling of offering tahajjud now. It is a little difficult, it's winters, and I've been unable to do that. But this is the message that, if you really need to kind of be closer to Allah Almighty, you really need to offer your tahajjud. So how you yourself, because you have been reciting the kalam of all of these legendary Sufi poets as well, and you've made sure that you're going to reach out to millions and millions of people. How do you delve into your own spiritual being as well? Do you do that yourself, and how do you do that? Do you do that through your music?
Through my music, I must say, because once we are talking about the Sufi kalam, so one should sing from heart, I think. This is very important.
You always do that.
It has 100% feeling, and without feeling you can't recite this.
True.
And you have to understand the meaning of this poetry as well.
And for that, you obviously have to read it first, and then understand it, and then comprehend, and then kind of do whatever you want to do with it. And it's beautiful. But now, Adeel bhai, there's a divide within the music industry, and I will share how and why. Because, you know, the kind of music you've been doing is the kind of music which, you know, my elders would have always loved, or I have always loved as well. But now when we talk about our future generations, the music has been changed 100%. You know, it's a 360-degree turn, where now we see a lot of pop and rock. Well, in fact, not a lot of people are interested in rock as well. So there's a lot of house music, there's a lot of pop. There are a lot of different genres coming in. Just like, you know, we were talking about HBL PSL 7's anthem, Aage De. You know, the music is very different now. So do you want to experiment with different music rather than having a sitar and a harmonium?
You mean fusion?
Yes, fusion, obviously.
Yeah, I have done so many fusions, but Shehzad, this very good thing I am watching in these days. Sufi kalam and Qawwali is getting more popular in
it is.
young and new generation, and everywhere in every second event I am watching Qawwali and Sufi, and youngsters are just jhoom 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 jhoom, and this is good.
Exactly, it is good, and you know, don't take me wrong as well.
No.
The
Please.
sole reason why I'm talking about fusions is, or the sole reason why I'm talking about that there is a lot of new music coming in. So now imagine that for the last few events which I've hosted, you know, imagine, so there was no band on the stage. There was just one gentleman with a computer or a disc jockey, that's what we call him, a DJ, and then there was a singer performing. So, you know, as we are progressing towards technology, what we have seen is that a lot of people certainly do not have a role to play within producing music as well, because it's just one simple computer and you can produce anything and everything, you know, and the world will love it. That's what I'm trying to ask you. What is your take on this kind of music, din chick, din chick, din chick, din chick, or something like that?
Yeah,
what do you feel about that?
I love this music. Sometimes, especially while I am driving, and inshallah, next time I will come with my new
Yeah, and I want it, and I want you to share, you know, a song with all my audiences, people who are out there who love this kind of music as well. So would you mind, you know, other than, you know, Sufi kalam, can you just sing us a song where, you know, the youngsters would actually
like
just dance to it?
Tell me what kind of song you want to listen.
I mean, I want to listen to a song which kind of relates to the emotions of the youngsters. That's what I want to listen to, because, you know, I think when we talk about youngsters, there are a lot of people who have actually lost their loved ones, unfortunately, you know, probably. And when I talk about lost their loved one and talk about youngsters, it's obviously that love, you know, which is blossoming within your own heart when you go into a university and all of a sudden you're in a co-education setup as well, you know. So, you know how.
Agreed. But again, I'm going back to the Sufi music in Dik-Chik.
Okay.
And I believe it has such a hijani kafiyat.
Yep.
And even Gora and those people are enjoying this music who doesn't understand Punjabi.
Sir, ho jabe.
Ho lal meri pat rakhiyo bala jhule lalan sindhdi da Seven da Shabaz Kalandar Damadam Mast Kalandar Sakhi Shabaz Kalandar Vase Dam Dam De Andar Husaini Lal Kalandar Ali Dam Dam De Andar Amasto Mast Kalandar Ali Lajpal Kalandar Nabi Diyal Kalandar Rabia Basri Kalandar Ho Lal Meri Ho Lal Meri
Wow, that was fantastic. And all of a sudden you literally rejuvenated our moods as well, and it's wonderful. But sir, now coming down to where you've, I'm not sure whether this is your first ever poetry book as well.
This is my very first.
This is
poetry,
your
yeah.
very first ever poetry book. It's right over here in my hand. It has been launched, ladies and gentlemen, and it says Gustakh Nigahi Ka Gila.
Well
and,
said, yes.
and it says something very beautiful over here. Le बैठा वो पिछली बातें जब एक मुद्दत बाद मिला शोखी मेरे लहजे की गुस्ताख निगाही का गिला.
Wow, your
Sir,
Urdu is as well very perfect. Really.
Jazakallah sir, but tell us a little about this book as well, because you know there's some pieces of marvel within this book of poetry which is written by you. You happen to be the author of it. Please go ahead, share something.
This is my first poetry book, and after my PhD, last year I have done
Dr. Adeel Barki.
No need.
No, it's all right.
And I have done my PhD in Mirza Ghalib topic. Mirza Ghalib ek muhakkik. And this is my first poetry, and you see my experience in poetry is just love. And love is my topic, though I am not very successful in.
I was about to ask you that.
So this is my poetry with the ghazal, nazam, geet, mahiye, tappe.
And you know, sir, because you just mentioned that even though that you haven't been really very successful in love, and I think
But since I am trying again and again.
Yeah, and I would want to relate with it, and there's a reason why I want to relate with it, because most of the times what you don't get in life is the thing which you are most thinking about as well, you know. So you wrote an entire poetry book, and that too about love and maye and tappe, which is why what I'm going to do is that I'm going to share a few couplets from your book, only if you allow me.
Yeah, please.
Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, this is for the very first time this legendary human being whom we know as Dr. Adeel Barki has actually released
Sounding
more than 12
good,
to 13 albums. He's produced music for a lot of films, that too across the border over here in Pakistan as well, and he's one of the most legendary figures in the field of music as well. So very quickly, let's do it. Says, अब मुयस्सर नहीं अदा हमको लग गई जैसे बदुआ हमको.
वाह 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 वाह, मुकर्रर मुकर्रर.
वो जो पूरी हुई न जीवन में भूली जाती है वो दुआ हमको. अब तो जीते हैं हम न मरते हैं, इश्क में क्या हुई सजा हमको. जब भी की करके हम तो पछताए, रास आई नहीं वफा हमको. लौट के जाना भी मुहाल हुआ, कोई देता नहीं सदा हमको. एक अना दरमियान रही है अदील, कर दिया जिसने अब जुदा हमको. Oh my God, it's so beautifully written. And for anybody and everybody who's out there, you know, probably people like me who really want to be poetic in their nature, or probably send all of these, you know, amazing poems to people whom they love as well. I think it is for you, ladies and gentlemen. Where can the people get this book of yours from?
In the market.
In the market, it's available everywhere, all the bookstores.
Now it's available.
Wow, that's wonderful. Well, I think I got lucky because I will get to keep this book from Mr. Adeel
Signed
Barki. I will
Signed
get it
copy.
signed from him.
Maybe the first copy.
Exactly. So, sir, very quickly before we wrap up this segment, first of all, what will be your message for the future generations? What can your fans expect from you in near future? What kind of music will you be indulging yourself into? And then towards the end, एक हल्के से जरा दो चार शेर और भी हो जाए.
Yeah, I will love to recite my few mahiye and tappe from this
Book of yours. Yes.
अश्कों की रवानी है,
वाह वाह वाह.
अश्कों की रवानी है, याद किसी की है, कहने को पानी है. याद किसी की है, कहने को पानी है. बदली फिर छाई है, बदली फिर छाई है, याद आई साजन की, फिर आँख भर आई है. And in the last, this is my message too, but I will sing Bulle Shah's poetry.
Sure, sir, sure.
कि ਤਸਬੀਹ ਪੜੇ ਮਕਾਰਾਂ ਵਾਲੀ ਤੇ ਦਾੜੀ ਕੀਤੀ ਚਿੱਟੀ ਪਰ ਆਇਆ ਮਾਲ ਇੰਜ ਖਾਦਾਈ ਜਿਵੇਂ ਤਰਕਾਰੀ ਲੱਗੀ ਮਿੱਠੀ ਨਾ ਤੂੰ ਮੰਦਰ ਮਸੀਤੇ ਵੜਿਆ ਨਾ ਕਬਰ ਅੰਗਾਰੀ ਡਿੱਠੀ ਖਬਰ ਤੇ ਕੋ ਹੋ ਸੀ ਬੁਲਿਆ ਉਹ ਜਦ ਮੂੰਹ ਤੇ ਆ ਪਈ ਮਿੱਟੀ
Kya baat hai. Thank you very much, Mr. Dr. Adeel Barki, for being with us. Lovely to be in conversation with you. All the best for your future endeavors, sir. And the kind of contributions you've made to our music industry is something which are commendable. And I think each and every one of you and our future generations, you really need to kind of go follow Mr. Adeel Barki because his contributions are enormous to the music industry. Please make sure to do that. But with that, ladies and gentlemen, we're actually heading out towards a short break. Don't go anywhere because when you guys will come back, we actually have something really interesting to share with you. In fact, you know, rather than sharing it after the break, I think why not we do it before the break. So ladies and gentlemen, alhamdulillah, as Mr. Adeel Barki mentioned, that it's been the 9th year that World This Morning has been up and running and making sure that we promote all sorts of talent. We talk about all sorts of subjects and do our research and make sure that we bring you the best of the best as well. So alhamdulillah, PTV World is going to turn 9 tomorrow, and we actually have a few clippings of our shows which we want to share with you, and that too over the span of 9 years. Please go ahead, take a look, and when you guys will come back, we will actually be joined by a younger author as well. Let's do that.
At least.
That all of us, the entire world actually, the society as a whole just sits silently.
It's my artistic expression, it's my way of viewing the world, and it's my way of communicating with the world, I'd say.
हम साथ रहते रहते भी बहुत दूर हो गए हैं. I didn't want to have tears in my eyes. It would be a cut. I was like, sir, how was it?
I face the world with a smile and no one knows what's hidden inside. And they see only happiness, they can't see the tears I cry.
When we shoot the scenes, fighting scenes, hands like 5 or 10 seconds, and no one can touch me there for 5 seconds.
Being healthy is the core for being young and for being beautiful.
And carry the title of being the youngest Muslim elected official in the United States. It's an incredible honor and honestly a privilege.
More than 3,500 shows in the very remote areas of Pakistan.
Mobile puppet shows.
Mobile puppet shows, and there is no electricity, there is no television, nothing, and they listen to us.
The Pakistani culture is very similar to Japan. Basic concept of the family is very similar to each other.
In my view, it's almost more important is to harness the, I would say, the substance of these past 70 years.
High-level exchanges have happened between the two countries.
It talks about equality. The way our religion talks about equality, the way Pakistan's constitution talks about equality.
One of my favorite presenters.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. So that was, for 9 years, ladies and gentlemen, straight 365 days in a year, we always made sure to bring you the best as well, where, we've had all sorts of artists. Imagine that we have even had people belonging to Michael Jackson's family. We even had people from Iron Maiden. We even had people all the way from Germany, Europe. Obviously Germany falls within Europe as well. We've always made sure to kind of reach out to the expat community as well and their issues and problems, and we've always made sure to kind of bring you the best. And thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen, because this is the best news, that just a few days ago we were actually called in by our executive producer, Mr. On Sahi, and he gave us this good news that alhamdulillah, World This Morning, which happens to be the only English morning show, came out to be on the 3rd most viewed show in the all of Pakistan, and I just cannot thank Allah enough for this amazing news which was shared to us by our executive producer. With that, we're actually heading out towards a short break. Don't go anywhere, because when you guys will come back, we have a lot of other people who are making sure that they're going to strive for excellence, and how are they doing it is something we will be sharing with you all. Good morning. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. For everybody who just got tuned into PTV World, you watching World this morning alongside Shahzad Hassan Khan. Earlier, ladies and gentlemen, before the break, the legendary Dr. Adeel Barki sahab was on the show, where he actually had so much to share with us all that, I actually feel a little sad that we really didn't had a lot of time to catch up with whatever he has to sing or whatever he has to share, because he's always the softest ever human being I've always come across, the modest of them all as well. And he always makes sure that, that he's going to represent that segment of the society where people have contributed quite a lot towards the country and the art and culture. Wonderful. But now, ladies and gentlemen, obviously it is because of the people like Dr. Adeel Barki who actually inspire and influence a lot of younger generations to do a lot of good work. And we have such an example over here in the studios with us. This gentleman, this boy, actually happens to be a youth activist as well. He's written his first ever book, and that too about politics. I mean, he's too young to be actually talking about politics. And that's something which Quaid-e-Azam actually said, that while you're in your colleges and schools, please make sure that you attend your schools and colleges first, and then kind of indulge yourself into a political activity. Why did he do that is something I would certainly want to ask. Ladies and gentlemen, we're very lucky that we've been joined by Mr. Alian Khan. Hello, assalamu alaikum, good morning.
Walaikum assalam.
How are you, brother?
I'm really good, and thank you so much for such a heavy introduction.
Thank you very much.
I'm just 20, and that introduction weighs a lot.
And you truly deserve it, and it's because of the fact, well, certainly while we talk about it, I want our future generations to get into book writing, to get into book reading, and kind of do their research, and it's great. So the first ever book you've written, the title is The Seven Venoms, right?
Exactly.
I mean, that's quite a scary title for a book to be, kind of printed with, and that too, when it's just a 20-year-old boy who's written it.
It's aimed to be scary. It's by the youth, so I think it's really good if you are scary and rebellious. That's basically my ideology.
Okay, well, that's wonderful. We would certainly want to kind of explore your ideology more and more, but please share the book with us as well.
Sure.
Do you want to show it to the audiences out there in 46 different countries? And
definitely.
Now, because we see a map over here as well, and when we see the map, obviously I see Pakistan, and then I see our neighbors as well.
Yeah.
How did you get this idea of writing a book where it's all majorly about politics?
I've always believed that youth really needs to be involved in politics. I mean, this country is not going to change if youth is not involved in politics. And this book is majorly, you know, perspective from a youth. You know, I was just 16 when I started writing this book from my college, and then I dropped out of that college. So I think, you know.
Did you drop out of that college because of writing this?
Actually, due to a lot of different reasons, that made me write this book. You know, I've always had a problem with this system, in a really good way, but I've always had a problem. So I started writing this book when I was 16 and interviewed a lot of people, and this is basically a theory. You know, there are 7 chapters, that's the name, the 7 Venoms, and it's basically a theory that if you know, eliminate these 7 things from the society, we can hope for a really better future.
But now, Alian, you wanted to talk about those 7 venoms, those 7 characteristics you wanted to talk about. Please go ahead, share that with us.
Absolutely, and you know, it's going to take a whole day if I go into details, but you know, it's basically about breaking things down to psychology, you know, basic psyche of the people and how history has influenced it. So a big portion of this book is based on historical aspect and drawback of Indian subcontinental, all the events, you know, for example, the caste system.
Yeah.
You know, that's one thing that has been present in this society for 4,000.
Brahman, yes.
Exactly, and 4,000 years. And you know, to this day, the colonial layout just enhanced those things. So like even today, maybe not Brahman, but we still have caste in our societies, and we don't engage with the people.
Jat, Rajput, you know, even we have it, and you know, everybody kind of takes pride in it, and you know, there's so many dirty jokes about you know, caste as well, or caste systems, and I believe that, you know, it's the human heart which needs to be cleaner, transparent, and it does not really matter which Zat you're from or caste you're from.
Exactly.
So you're an avid believer of that, right?
I am, absolutely.
And why do you want to get rid of that? You know, because you know, people who are actually 20 years old, they actually spend their nights staying up because they wanted to talk with someone, you know, whom they love probably, or you know, they want to get married to, or they want to get settled. Here you are writing a book, you know. So how do you do that? How do you maintain that balance?
I mean, someone gotta stand up, you know. Someone
and you thought that it's you?
Yeah, I thought that it's me. And then, you know, I also have a foundation, and we're a team of 50 people. So I try to attract people who are into these things as well. I mean, yeah, big portion of that society is the part that you just talked about. But there are people who want to change something, and there are people who are doing something.
And yes, you know, let's talk about your youth activism as well. How are you doing that, and how did you gather people onto the same platform where they have the same mindset as you?
You know, last year I founded this foundation, Crossheader Foundation.
Okay.
It's a youth by youth foundation. You know, everything, all the members are under the age of 24, and we have impacted more than 2,000 children last year.
Wow.
Children's rights, advocacy, action, and now we're moving towards building these portable schools. You know, these movable portable schools that you can put anywhere, and it will educate. You know, world-class education is provided in these schools.
Wow.
Yeah.
So how do you do that, and how do you make them portable? Because when we talk about the school, you know, just in one class we have more than 20, 30 students, you know, so having an entire school which happens to be portable, how do you do that?
That's the first question that people ask me. And you know, when I was writing this book, I got to travel around a lot, and I figured out that there are 3 main problems with this system.
Yep.
I won't talk about the one, but the other 2 are the caste system and the education.
Okay.
So the main education system, you know, there are a lot of ghost schools in Pakistan and open air schools.
True.
So you talked about how do you make a school portable. Have you ever seen a shipping container?
Yes.
I mean, Imran Khan would love to hear about it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the school is based in a shipping container.
All right.
Yeah,
So an entire school in a 20 feet container or a 40 feet container?
Yeah, and it houses 50 children at a time.
Wow.
Yeah, and there is a office as well.
So then when we say that, you know, that the school is actually portable, so you take that container from one place to another.
Exactly.
But what about the students who attended that portable school in probably Sakha, and then you have taken that container to probably Rahim Yar Khan?
Yeah.
Are they going to miss out on the school then?
Actually, no.
Or you will have a separate container for them, or separate for the people in Rahim Yar Khan?
So it's portable in a sense that we won't be moving it around all the time.
All
so
right.
basically it's in, like, for example, Tharparkar.
Yep.
You cannot build a school over there, but you can build one in Islamabad, and you can move it there.
Exactly. So you build one, you take it to
It's a
Tharparkar,
modular
you place
design.
it over there,
It's
the
a
students come in and they study.
It's a modular
And
design.
it's a great idea.
Yeah.
And you know, for a kid as young as you know, while I was 20, all I wanted was to have a good music system in my car.
I want that as well, but this is I want that too.
Wow, that's wonderful. So you're on a wonderful journey, and we certainly want people like you, you know, who think about how education needs to be improved. But what are those flaws which you see within our own education system, and that too, you know, after the advent of single national curriculum? a lot of people are saying that, you know, alhamdulillah, you know, that the schooling system and the education system is getting better under the vision of our Premier Mr. Imran Khan as well. So what are the changes you would want to see within the education system?
I mean, there can be a lot of critics, and the idea, you know, Imran Khan's book has been one of the major source of inspiration for me.
True.
His autobiography,
Yep.
you know, I still remember reading the chapter when he attended Atchison College, and that really influenced me, you know,
Yep.
forced me to, you know, really look at a society in a different way. So the idea of single national curriculum is fantastic, but you know, if you're gonna make a standard, make it of a good quality. I mean, I skimmed through the single national curriculum.
Yep.
If there is one standard, make it of a good quality.
True.
I mean, otherwise it's just
Otherwise, it's not even a standard, right?
Yeah, it's not a standard. It is a standard, but
Yeah.
it's gonna, you know, it's gonna.
I mean, if it's
go
not
down.
if it's not high in quality, you cannot literally call it a standard. Now, that's what I'm referring to.
Exactly.
Which I believe it's great, and we want to wish you best of luck as well in all of your future endeavors. So very quickly towards the end, whatever message you have for our future generations, please go ahead, take a look into this camera
I
and
would
say
say
whatever you want to
just
say.
stand up and do the thing that you want to do. It's really
Really?
important, yeah. And I would also suggest
When
people.
people think about very crazy ideas, Alyan,
I mean,
you really do not want to say that to them. Yeah, do whatever you want to do, stand up and do it. You know, don't do that.
It's important that you take your chances, and people in their 30s, I would say that please have trust in the youth, because you know, we cannot create new ways by implementing the old ideas.
Exactly,
So,
that's true. And you
freedom
know,
is
even
really
Hazrat Ali
important.
has said that as well, that do not raise your children as you have been risen by your parents, because they were born in a different time. Thank you very much, Alyan, for being with us. Lovely to be in conversation. Would you mind sharing the book with our audiences once again, and where can they get it from?
Yeah, they can read it for free on Google Books.
Wow,
absolutely,
for
yeah.
free?
Absolutely, yeah.
Wow, that's wonderful. I mean, this is the first step where, you know, there's this gentleman who's written a book and he wants everybody to kind of take benefit from it. I like the idea, I like the passion you have, I like the dedication you have, and the way you're working, you know, will inshallah always bring you good. And that's what we want for our country and the people of our country. Thank you very much, Alyan Khan, for being with us. For everyone who's out there, ladies and gentlemen, there's only one simple and humble request. Please make sure to follow all the SOPs being put in place by the government. Make sure that you're not gathering up your friends at your place, and that too not following the SOPs, because then God forbid you're making sure that your parents are going to be at the risk of getting the COVID. Other than that, please make sure that you remember us all in your Jummah prayers, not just only in Jummah prayers, for every prayer you're going to make sure that you remember me, my entire team. Look after yourselves. 1, 2, 3. Good morning. Bye.